So casually keep diving into concrete, so bittersweet, huh? Keep losing sleep while driving in the backseat. What's left of me? Drowning in what feels just like an ocean.
Hi, this is Barack L from Femigod. I'm here with Laura Brennan Ballet. How are you doing today, Laura?
Fabulous, Barack. Thank you. It is an honor to be here with you.
It's an honor to have you here, Laura. I'm so excited. We were just talking before the interview, and you have so much great information to share with the women of our community. Can you tell us a little bit more about your background?
Yeah, so as we were talking, and I almost wish we were recording before because there was so much great synergy. Um, just to put everyone at ease, I am a regular kid at heart. I worked 3 jobs, fell in love late, got married late. I gave up having a baby of my own to take care of 2 beautiful, amazing stepdaughters. And at a time in my life when most of my friends were saying, like, start slowing down or kind of give up, I went full force and created The Science of Empowerment, which is my new book. But there's so much more to it. It is a book, but it's an educational mechanism for self advancement to really almost revolutionize the way that we move through this moment going forward. A shout out to my brother, Chris Brennan. He's a former USA Olympic gymnastics coach. He is a brain that is like on fire with passion to create mindset skills and principles, which we do in our neuromuscular training facility. So we work the formula that I write about in the book, which I'll tell you about in a minute. But we have been into mindset material since we were little kids. And as I shared with you, our parents really allowed us to fly from the nest very early. They were like, you're going to go and you're going to figure it out. They gave us love, but we weren't without issue and we weren't without tragedy and we weren't without a lot of the common family chaos that many of us, experience. I was not born, rich and highly educated and all of that. We really worked as a family unit, and then we extended that out to really become self-actualized thinking human beings. And at every kind of issue, my parents taught us, learn the skill of recalibration. And I said to you, where there's a stop sign in your mind, metaphorically, spiritually, intellectually, learn to flip it into a go. And it's amazing what the brain will do when you start to power it up with creative thought, with positive thought. And so all of this really just lent itself to creating this book. At our training facility, when we were physically training people, we would obviously be talking. So right now, if you and I were doing power push-ups and candlesticks and we're working on the rings, we would be talking about our family, our days, our partners, our work. And I would start to work this incredible formula that my brother created that I actually applied everywhere I went and started to say to him, wow, this is changing, fundamentally changing and transforming the lives of the people that I'm coming in contact with. And basically this formula, it's called the J3 equals E. 5 principles, 5 Jekyll principles. Jekyll is the name of the facility. They are awareness, willingness, accountability, critical thinking, and energy. And when you take those 5 principles and you put them with the 3 fields of energy, negative, positive, neutral, they will equal empowerment. When you use the principles and you choose the quantum field of positivity, you will become an empowered human being. And we run through this at every phase of encounter. Road rage, you're in a supermarket, you lost a loved one, you lost your job. We figure out how to recalibrate thought to have positive effect on how we decide as an individual, right? To gain wisdom, to gain insight, to gain momentum towards something more profound, purposeful, and meaningful in our life. So the creation of the book and the drive for the book was to stop having everyone that I meet everywhere that I travel telling me I have to write a book. Because even if I met you on the airplane, this is what we would be talking about. And you'd be like, oh my God, you need to write a book.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of how the book came to be and a little bit of my background. I've always been open to off-planet power and whatever that means to each person. But I believe we are a small, beautiful human family amongst a much global family. And I think those of us who are willing to awaken and share what we think is a probability out there is going to help awaken and seed the mind and the souls of other people that are getting ready and are willing to take that next step into self-evolution.
That's beautiful. Oh man. You spoke a little bit about mindset. Can you go into a little bit more detail and tell us, I hear we hear the law of attraction, we hear all these things of thinking positively. And can you expand a little bit more on mindset and how important it is to the foundation of everything you do, and how that you can go from being a regular person to an author with the correct mindset?
Yeah, so for me, when I'm just speaking out with my friends or new people or in an interview or a podcast, the very unique thing is I made a decision to merge with my higher knowledge self. Let's say there is no such thing as any of what we think there is, but what a journey, what an exploration it is to acknowledge the possibility that mindset can alter this experience. So even if I say, I choose to have a positive mindset every day, and someone says, well, why? What do you do when something happens that's a negative, a draw away from positivity? It's very simple. I say two things. Number one, I do not sit in that pullback very long. So if there's a current trying to pull me away from a positive mindset, my awareness to it is immediate. My willingness to not stay connected to that experience for very long starts to change it immediately. The accountability to believe that I am a self actualized thinking human being allows me to move away from the negative into that positive mindset even more. Going away from the emotionality of what a neutral or negative mindset is, which is where most of us kind of operate from, holding on to that critical thought of lessening the emotionality and the chaos and the drama and the ego and move very quickly into that critical thinking, again, wraps me around to that positive mindset. I can choose positive thinking at every turn, every moment, every second, every hour. So for someone that says, well, how can I have a positive mindset? I'm going through a divorce. I lost my job. I understand all of that. And that is something that we would talk about and discuss as a pointed conversation. So if someone, like one of my clients, if they're going through something specific, then we work on learning what that feels like, that sensory connection to changing the way I'm thinking about it. So if I have someone and they're going through a divorce, you can imagine how we honor the emotional feeling of that separation, but how quickly we can recalibrate it to a brand new beginning, a whole new life away from what that divorce once represented. So I think mindset, you just have to be willing to engage in this vast database, our mind brain matrix. It's beaming with brilliance and genius thinking. And we get too mired down with the day to day play out. Let go of the drama, release that karmic obligation to chaos and disruption. Practice positive thinking. The next time you see an argument or dissension in your home, within yourself, out in the world, practice thinking of what it would look like to be in a position to calm the energy in the environment down. You don't have to speak it. You don't have to change your body language. I'm saying this, I just did this at our local post office in our small town the other day. The computers went down, people were frustrated, they're tired of wearing masks, all of what's going on. And this one woman had such a terrible reaction to the computer going down. She forgot, like, there's 13 of us in line. We're all going through it. So I started to put a calming energy towards her. I started to really think about, if I could talk to her, how would I bring her down from this agitated state? Do you know, within a few minutes, what she was expressing? She started to say, oh, well, I guess I'll just enjoy these few minutes at the counter while you're figuring out the. It was amazing. I'm not saying that positive mindset will cure every single negative encounter, but it will elevate it. It will help level it up a bit. And the more skilled we become in believing in how empowered we truly are and how we have the ability to empower others, the more our day-to-day existence enriches. And that's what I tried to convey in the book.
That's incredible. I think one of the things that I've learned is it's really a choice. You have the choice of how you're going to react to the situation. And it takes, it's me personally, it took me a long time to come to that. And I know a lot of other people, it takes a long time to come to that. But once you come to that, you do realize that you have the ability to set the tone for your day. You have the ability to set the tone for your life. And while you encounter obstacles and things come and go, it's how you choose to respond to those obstacles. I think it can be very hard for people, as you said. I don't want to place too much emphasis on positive thinking, like that's the end all be all, because it does require action. And I personally, I think that's a lot of part that a lot of these books and teachers leave out, is the action of it.
Yeah.
But it's the foundation. Without that, you have nothing. If you can't stay in that neutral space when you're being bombarded with all these obstacles and, trials and tribulation, then you can't build anything from that point. And before we dive into the actual meat of the science and empowerment, I think words are so important. And I just wanted to get your perspective of what really does empowerment mean to you?
Yeah, I get asked this often in different ways. For me, empowerment is the observation of self and the potentiality of how deep can I go to that connection of self. And that is not a selfish response. It is the knowing that if I do not hold the ability to recalibrate, reframe whatever word fits the person. If I do not hold that ability here, there is no way my guidance or my support or my teaching or my knowledge or just my conversations are going to be able to guide, help, and support someone else. It's almost like telling someone what it would be like to be a warrior. If you've never been on the field of that, you can't. You have to experience empowerment. And the only way to do that is through self growth. And that is a very unique journey, right, for each person. One person may find it in a certain modality. Not, I mean, that's just why we have such an amazing global community, global family. We offer different ways, different words, thoughts, prayers, meditations, insights, teachings. But I think a truly evolving soul is open to everything, hears it, takes it in, deciphers it, and then keeps what works for them at this moment, right? As they're collecting that information. And then it's what I call building an internal living library, right? We have our books on the shelves, we have our books on the table, we have our catalog of what's maybe back there, but we keep it all in, we keep an opening to it. So I really think empowerment is self-discovery, self-exploration. So then we can bring that out into the world.
That's great. So, with that, can you tell us a little bit more about the science of empowerment and the tools and techniques that it gives to help people really empower themselves?
Yeah, it's a very, like I said, it's a really unique journey. Right from the get-go, when you open it up, it kind of captures some part of your being. The foreword that was written is amazing. The endorsements and the people that I reached out to even take the time out of their incredibly very bountiful lives to read the book and their thought process on it. Even if I tell people, don't get overwhelmed. Even if you read just the chapters, the titles, it starts to spark. And then as you move through, right in the beginning, there's the 5 principles and there's the definition. And then there's one very small page that tells you the formula. That is it. And then you start to go into the book. And it's this very unique journey of showing you how, when you apply 1 principle, 3 principles, 5 principles, the skill of willingness, the skill of awareness, how the choice, as you said, of choosing what state of frequency, mindset, thought process you want to go through without your day. It really brings you through this beautiful way of engaging the formula right into your world. And I write about, like, you know, how our great grandparents and parents, society, political leaders, church leaders, and we can run down that list. We don't realize how we become this living, breathing algorithm of other people's thoughts, right? We're told when we're very young, this is, and it's not this black and white, but how you will be, how you will think, how you will maneuver through, what you'll believe in. And if we are lucky, we have guides, parents, or facilitators or activators that, again, on the periphery, even though they might say, okay, this is the structure, but on your free time, I want you to go over here and explore what that is. A lot of us don't have that. And the beauty of the science of empowerment, it gives you a space to tuck in, cuddle in, relax into an environment that right from the get-go allows you to create. So that may be a no disturb sign on your door after the kids or the husband are down or the partnerships are down for the night. Maybe it's your tea or your coffee, a glass of wine, though, everybody's got their own way of moving through. It's a place for you to go to not just read words, for you to align yourself with, again, exploration and expansion of knowledge. And the way that it was written is to you personally. And when you read the book, you get that feeling that you and I are doing this. I even write something in the book like, if you've never met yourself, say hello. Here you are. This is your opportunity to put down all of those blocks. Just give yourself space and time to expand your environment. And so the book goes into a lot of very unique ways of reminding you of your genius, your brilliance, your ability to be more for yourself and then expand that out to others. So I hope that helps. It isn't a difficult read, but it is a thinking person's read. My daughter is now 17, but I've been working this mindset with my children for a decade. And it's been a challenge. They're very influenced by social media. They were locked down this past year, one out of university, one of other children's out of high school. Um, every day I worked mindfulness with them. I worked this skill set. We ran through the principles in the morning, 3 choices of energy. Obviously, there's only 2 quantum fields of real energy, negative and positive, but I added neutrality into the book so that we all know we have a resting place when needed. Even if we're reading, again, new knowledge, new information, we're taking on the idea of studying self and our expansion. I wanted you to know that at any given moment, just close the book, take a moment, let your mind think about what you're taking in. Just like you did with any readings and any the tarot cards, any esoteric exploration, there was a time of gathering and then a time to seed and then a time to let it take hold. And that's kind of the flow that I want to convey to the readership in the community, that this isn't like, I have readers, Barack, that will read this book in days. They will devour it. And then they will tell me, I am now going back in. I have people reading it for a 4th time. Every single time they get something different because they're
Yeah.
growing. And this is the beauty of what we're trying, and I don't even want to say trying, what we are creating, what we are building, what we are cultivating. It is a place to offer a gift of that reflection of self. And this is one aspect of how you become closer and more connected to self. That's a little bit of it. I know we're just kind of flowing with conversation. So please let me know if you would like me to expound on anything, go further into detail, or we'll just keep going the way we are.
No, I think one of the points that's really interesting, you said that people are amalgamation of other people's programs. That's one
Oh,
thing I always talk about. You're getting from the time you wake up and step outside your door, you're getting bombarded with other people's programming.
yeah.
And, one of the things I always say is a big part of the spiritual work is deprogramming,
Yes.
removing all these programmings from you and so that you can have a clean state to install your own programs. And I know you told me, you've had always had a love for neuroscience and been interested in these things. Can you tell me a little bit more about that and how it relates to deprogramming and decluttering, removing all that from you?
So now there's this very cool movement. I'm sure it's out there in the world. I've kind of started using the term holistic psychology. It's this wholeness, this wellness, and this well-being connected to science. So many of us, and a lot of great leadership sometimes needs to know that there's a foundation underneath, right? This thought process. What I love about the neuroscience of rewiring, remapping the brain mind matrix is the ability, and I write about this, to redesign the architecture of thought itself. And
Yeah.
every human being has this ability. So, i.e., deprogramming. When you sit wherever it may be, whether it's a meditation at your garden, going on a walk, walking the beach, sitting in your chair in your home, you have the ability to go in and become this mad genius designer of what you enter in and what you release out of this database of information. So the neuroscience is really starting to formulate this pathway of allowing us to know that thought is creative. And though we've known that for a long time, science is starting to catch up with the spiritual environment of people who are, I mean, we've been studying, right, sages and for thousands of years that have known this. We also are in an egoic based world right now. So there are people that need data, need research to almost balance out the belief that thought is creative. But it is coming out there in the neuroscience and learning how, they can measure now when a thought of negativity comes in, what shows up on a brain scan when a thought of positivity and happiness and joy comes in. I write about this experiment, the water experiment, in the book, and how we're made up of water, and how if you speak ill, if you speak negatively towards a person, how the flow in the body gets affected. The biology almost becomes diseased with itself because the mind is taking in a word. There's a current of energy to that word, and it starts to settle in the cellular makeup. And people have to understand that now. So I write about dissolving negative patterns and behaviors through to positive outcomes because we are that amalgamy of someone else right from when we're held as a baby. The tonality, the environment starts to basically construct who we are going to become. And then, right, when we're in our stages and we hear things, even if we're in our bed at 2 years old, but our parents are fighting, or we're a one family parent, or there's disruption, even if our caretaker walks in to tuck us in and say, I love you and good night, or we do a little prayer, or we read a book, that energy of disruption has already settled into the cells, the biology and the framework of mind. It gets tucked way in there. That is why you can already see 2 or 3 or 4-year-olds fighting over things, a toy or a desk or a crayon, whatever it may be in the school system. We already have learned mine, not yours. Mine, give me, right? Not sharing. So it's so important, I think, for leadership now to really find unique and empowering ways, whether it's in the health industry, it's in the corporate industry, it's in the school system. This is one of my driving forces, is to get the science of empowerment in the school system. Let it be a course. So kids read and come in and they can start to have this awareness and this ability to understanding that what is happening out there does not define what I can create in here. And I think this is such an important aspect of learning, that we have the ability, and again, everyone has their own lexicon: dissolve, detach, right? Recalibrate, reframe, redesign, get rid of any thought that no longer serves your highest and best self. You need to release it. And whatever that releasing process is, it doesn't matter. Release it, let it go, and input something of more beneficial wisdom, intellectual, like even intelligence building, whatever word you want to put to it. Positivity is a word that holds a beautiful abundance for the human condition. But there are other words that other people can use, but it's in that realm of trying to release outdated and unnecessary thinking and replace it with positive, wisdom filled, intelligence building mechanisms, i.e., skills, right? Words, books, practices, etc. So I hope that helps a little bit. The neuroscience is really starting to connect this holistic psychology, mind, body, consciousness, all working under one umbrella, one environment. They all impact and affect one another. And when you start to connect the synergy of thought to biology to spirit, you realize I need, it is imperative for me to fill my mind brain matrix with as much higher thinking as possible, because it will affect the health and the well-being of my biology, and it will absolutely stagnate or expand my spiritualness. So I hope that helps.
No, I mean, that helped a lot. I think it's so important, as you said, sages have been doing this for so long, and it's great to see that the
Centuries.
science is, confirming it and backing it up because, as you said, there are people that need that understanding of why this works and how it works. You provided us with so much great information today, Laura. I just wanted to know, is there anything else before we go that you wanted to share with the community or leave us with, and any value or messages you want to leave us with?
Yeah, I would hope that the community understands that the book is a resource tool. It is an educational, spiritual tool to connect deeper within yourself. And I really feel the importance of that. I know that when I look at my husband and my children, and when I speak, there is a level of listening, and they're curious. What is mom going to say next? What she says matters. We know she has our back and she's leading us on a path. Now, I always tell them to take my wisdom, my insights, and my teaching and learn how it works for their life. But let that be, again, a driving force of good energy, positive energy, to help move them towards advancement. So I would like to offer, the listening community, obviously, please get the book and reach out to me. My cell number is on my website. I have readership all over the globe that will reach out: Spain, Australia, Italy, the UK, India. I talk to people all the time that are reading the book. If there's a place that they get to and they feel some level of stagnation, they reach out to me. Sometimes in 3 minutes, we turn it around. So the book is another pathway for self-exploration. And anything that I can do past this point with you, with anything that you're doing, everything that you're doing, because I think you are an amazing human being. I absolutely honor you and what you are offering to the world. And I really want to help, if I can, and be of value to grow and expand all of what this is about. The more human beings that we have in observance and reflection and willing to grow and willing to expand, I think the better for all of us. It's a very small global family now. We're getting very tight in our connectivity. And I really want to help as many people as I can in my own way, and then collaborate and really cultivate movement and advancement with anyone that is listening, or yourself. Anything I can do, Brock, to again, just explore and expand connectivity to spirituality, to conscious elevation, and just elevating the global community as best as I can with others. But thank you. I really, I feel very privileged to have met you and spent time with you. And I look forward to staying in connection, and anything I can do to help you and what you're building, you just let me know.
Thank you so much, Laura. And definitely, I look forward to working with you and
Yeah.
building and continue to spread consciousness throughout this planet. And again, it was an honor to have you here. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you for all the insight you provided to our
Thank
community.
you. Thank you for this opportunity, and let's expand together.
Sounds good. Have a great day, Laura.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
So casually keep diving into concrete. So bittersweet. Huh? Keep losing sleep while driving.